The naked man in the garden. Christian church leaders have traditionally obscured or skipped over parts of the Bible that don't fit their desired meme of the moment. For example, consider this scene in the Garden of Gethsemane with Roman soldiers sneaking up on Jesus and his followers the night of his arrest. Here, he would be betrayed by Judas with his kiss. Most of us were never told in church that when the Romans arrested Jesus in that garden that night, he was in the company of a young man who was naked, except for a linen cloth wrapped around him. Here it is in the book of Mark, chapter 14 in the King James Bible, as it describes Jesus' arrest. This is the verse. "And there followed him a certain young man having a linen cloth cast about his naked body. And the young men laid hold on him, and he left the linen cloth and fled from them naked." Again, that is from the book of Mark in chapter 14. Many of us as Christian children sat through various reenactments of the Passion of Jesus, usually in some outdoor setting at Easter sunrise, and never heard of this scripture. No one ever went to an Easter sunrise service to see a reenactment of some naked guy running out of the garden. Imagine how that would have gone over. Why was this detail of the Passion of Christ left out? It was because the guardians of church tradition didn't want us to get the wrong idea. They were afraid we would ask, "Who is that guy, and what was he doing out there in the garden at night with a little cloth around him?" By the way, the King James Bible says, "naked," not once, but twice. Church leaders didn't have a good explanation for it, so they just left it out. It was not a part of the traditional narrative of the church. That is how a lot of scripture is obscured for us, with the assumption we can't handle it. The idea is, let's just skip over the naked garden guy. Church leaders may say, that's a good solution, just skipping it. One could claim with great certainty that the following statements are entirely biblical. 1. Jesus was arrested after being betrayed by a kiss from a male follower while in a public garden at night, accompanied by a naked young man with a little cloth wrapped around him. 2. This followed a dinner during which the male disciple Jesus loved reclined on his bosom. That is all scriptural. Even though this reading is 100% biblical, the mere citation in this sequence can be considered by some to be quite heretical, even though it is simply reading scripture in a straightforward way. How one understands that presentation of scripture and what one assumes from it depends a great deal on context, translation, and nuance. Fact is, the only thing that makes the naked man in the garden suspect is that the Christian church has seen fit to ignore it and sweep it under the carpet for so long. Is this because they thought we might think it means something they don't like? You can add or subtract whatever context you want. That's what puts the interpretation in biblical interpretation. There was a naked man in the garden at night. If you believe Bible, believe that.